I've been thinking about this lately. Some of the characters we connect with the most, it's not really about how strong they are. It's about what they're dealing with underneath. So I wanted to try something different with this series. Not breaking characters down like a review, but just talking through what they represent. Because if we're being honest, a lot of these characters feel familiar for a reason. And Kratos is probably one of the clearest examples of that. This is for the guy who doesn't really lose his temper like that, but definitely feels it sometimes. The guy who stays pretty controlled, but there's moments where you can feel something building up, and you don't fully know where it's coming from. Not explosive, just there. I think most people look at Kratos and just label him as angry. And yeah, on the surface, that makes sense. But the older version of him, especially in 2018's God of War, he doesn't actually feel out of control. If anything, he feels tight, like everything is being held in place. And that's a different kind of feeling. It's not chaos, it's controlled. And honestly, that's what makes him feel real. Because a lot of us aren't walking around snapping at people. We're just holding things in. When you look at his story, it's not hard to see why he ended up like that. Loss, regret, things he probably wishes he could undo. And instead of sitting with any of that, he just keeps moving. He doesn't talk about it, he doesn't unpack it. He just carries it. And I think that's the part that hits, because most guys don't get taught what to do with that kind of weight. So you figure it out the only way you know how. You stay busy, you stay focused, you stay in control, and whatever's underneath just stays there. The thing is, holding it in works for a while. You can function, you can get things done, you can look completely fine from the outside. But over time, you start to notice little things. You're more irritated than you used to be. Small stuff gets under your skin faster. You feel tense even when nothing's really wrong. And it's not always obvious why. It just feels like something's always sitting there in the background. That's what Kratos feels like to me. Not just angry, just carrying a lot. There's that line in God of War, "Don't be sorry, be better." And I used to think that was just a strong mindset. But the more you look at it, it also sounds like someone who doesn't really give themselves space to feel anything.
Hold! What are you doing? Now his guard is up. Only fire! Only fire when I tell you to fire.
I'm sorry.
Do not be sorry. Be better.
It's just move forward, fix it, do better next time. And yeah, that builds discipline. But it can also turn into never really dealing with what's going on underneath. A lot of us do that without realizing it. We don't process things. We just try to improve past them. I think that's why Kratos hits the way he does. It's not the fighting. It's not the power. It's the restraint. It's the feeling that there's something there, but it's being managed. And if you've ever felt like that, like you're keeping things together on the outside, but there's more going on underneath, then yeah, it's going to feel familiar. Something I've been trying to understand myself is there's a difference between being in control and actually dealing with something. Control is just keeping it in place. Dealing with it is something else entirely. And I think a lot of us lean toward control because it's what we know. It's predictable. It works, but it doesn't always make things lighter. It just makes you better at carrying it. What's interesting about Kratos, though, is that over time, you can see small changes. Nothing dramatic, just moments where he pauses, where he doesn't react the same way, where he seems a little more aware of what he's carrying. And that feels more realistic. It's not some big transformation. It's just small shifts. And honestly, that's probably what it looks like for most of us, too. So yeah, I don't really see Kratos as angry anymore. He just feels like someone who's carrying a lot and trying to stay in control of it. And if that hits a little close to home, then this probably wasn't really about him, just something to think about. If you want to keep going with this kind of stuff, I've got a few more characters in mind that hit in a similar way. Just something to think about. Maybe it's not anger